Eyes for Allah, nothing but Allah. Ba is the beginning of Bismillah. Ta is for taqwa, the wearing of Allah. And Tha is for thawab, a reward. Ja is for Jannah, the garden of paradise. Ha is for Hajj, the blessed pilgrimage. Kha is for Khatem, the seal of the prophethood given to the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam. Da is for Deen, al-Islam, religion with Allah since time began. That is for dhikr, remembering Allah, and rise for the month of Ramadan. Oh Ramadan. Za is for zakah, to cure our greed, when we give our money to those in need. Sa is for salamun alaykum, peace be with you, wa alaykum as-salam. Sha is for Shams, the shining sun, which Allah placed for everyone. And Sa is for Salah, for when we pray, facing Him, every day facing Him, till we meet our Lord. Allah, there's only one God, and Muhammad is His messenger. Allah, La ilaha illallah. Da is for Duha, the morning light, the sun has turned from red to white. Ta is for Tariq, a path to walk upon. And Dha is for Dhil, a shadow. And Ah is for Ilm, the thing to know, to make our knowledge grow in Islam. Gha is for Ghaib, a world unseen, and that we know is not a dream. And Fa is for the opening, Al-Fatiha. And Qaf for the Quran, the book of God. And Ka is for Kalima, a word we're taught, to teach us what is good and what is not. And La is for the beginning of La ilaha illallah. Ma is for the messenger, Muhammadur Rasulullah. La ilaha illallah, Muhammadur Rasulullah. Allah, there's only one God, and Muhammad is His messenger. Allah, La ilaha illallah. Na is for Naum, the sleep God gave to give us rest after the day. Ha is for the hijrah, the journey that the Prophet made. And Wafudu, before we pray, to help us wash our sins away. And Ya for Yawmiddin. Allah, there's only one God, and Muhammad is His messenger. Allah, La ilaha illallah. Allah, there's only one God, and Jesus was His messenger. Allah, La ilaha illallah. Allah, there's only one God, and Moses was His messenger. Allah, La ilaha illallah. Allah, there's only one God, and Abraham was His messenger. Allah, La ilaha illallah. Allah, there's only one God, and Noah was His messenger. Allah, La ilaha illallah. Allah, there's only one God, and He created Adam, and we are the children of Adam. Allah, La ilaha illallah.
Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. الله أكبر الله أكبر. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله. أشهد أن محمدًا رسول الله. أشهد أن محمدًا رسول الله. حي على الصلاة. حي على حي على الفلاح. حي على الله أكبر الله أكبر. لا إله إلا الله.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. I seek refuge in God from the cursed Satan. Anything good I say is from God, anything bad I say is from me. And good afternoon, good evening, good morning, and good riddance to the brain dead daft zombies. We're offering free character readings on demands for any brain dead zombie who could not read or cannot read. We are now providing Arabic and English courses here, free, live and direct. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. All praises for God, the most merciful, the most kind. That is all I said in Arabic there. My Arabic is limited. I'm not a very good Muslim. I'm a lapsed Muslim. And I'm listening to the call of prayer there, and I'm thinking, maybe I should go and back and read my prayers and do my prayers, you know, be a good Muslim. These wonderful Rangers tribute act fans who obviously are so obsessed that they can't get enough, just can't get enough, you just can't get enough of us. You know, that they had to sit there watching, whoa, through their tears, greeting away, watching us lift the trophy. I mean, so they had to sit through the whole game. They had to sit through Neil Lennon celebrating. They had to sit through the cup being lifted. They had to sit through this firework pyrotechnic, no pyro, no party. So they're sitting there in their tears, and they're blue, and they're red, and they're white. Oh, mommy, daddy. What the fecky, excuse me language, why are you watching it, zombie? Why are you sitting there watching it? How did he get that far into it? Right? What, I mean, I confess, sometimes I've watched them play in a cup final without us being there. But the second it turns into a rout is the second I'm out the door and the TV's not getting smashed, it's getting turned off and it's finish time. So, how on earth and how much brain dead do you have to be and how much obsessed? I mean, the call is put to me being obsessed and others, but how obsessed do they have to be to sit there to get to the point of Izagiri and Islam? The first thing we need to ask for here, get me the number of this association, we want to speak to them, or else we're doing Islamic lectures the whole night here. Let's mix it up. No more of the naughty stuff in the USA, it's cancelled, it's binned. Last week, when I did the show of silence, I had to bite my tongue because I wanted to say stuff, but I couldn't trust myself to keep calm because too many people were going all loopy-loo and crazy on Twitter. And I think you have to have a bit of reflection and something that, I mean, I've wanted to leave this country for a while because, well, now that the rivers of blood that Enoch Powell spoke about, yesterday, just less than a quarter of a mile from the mosque, I saw a young black boy covered, his face, it was covering with I don't know, it was a bandage or something anyway, and a police officer taking a statement. I don't know if he'd been beaten up, but the rise, and it's went through the roof, of attacks on people, how do you want to describe them, ethnic minorities, black people, Asian, Muslims, the rise in attacks on people who are just a bit different from what you would call the indigenous British person is through the roof already. And right away when I saw that happening, I heard of what happened, I mean, it wasn't till that night. I don't know anything's happened in the news today. Time I got up out of bed today, it was about 4 o'clock, 3 o'clock, whatever it was, or 2 o'clock. Did a bit of Twitter, went and get ready, did some family stuff, and then met up with a brother, did some more family stuff, and then I'm sitting here. And I've not seen one bit of the news, I've not listened to any radio news, I don't know what's going on. And I didn't know what we'd done that night, on the Wednesday, was it the Wednesday? And then on the Thursday I did the live show, and I wanted to say stuff, but I was so upset because, you know, if that was a Muslim who did that, and if it looks like it was who did that, then, you know, I can't understand the logic. I mean, I'm not, as I say, a proper Muslim in the sense that, you know, both people who came, the first Muslims who walked the planet 1400 years ago were completely different to people who are now saying that are practicing Muslims, you know, that there's I'm no expert, I'm no Maulvi, I'm no Sheikh, I'm no Imam, I'm just a crackpot as always. And, you know, but I remember a chat with someone who had connections with, well, if you look at what happened in Ireland, in all reality, you know, there was never any really attacks on a church or a chapel. I mean, okay, the zombies would play their lambeg drum right outside the chapel, but was there many attacks on places of worship? And then when you look what happened in Iraq just in the last, 10 years, in Iraq with all the Shia bombings. And I remember a friend who was connected to the stuff on the other side in Ireland, and says, there was a respect done. You didn't do that to the other side on the religious side. There's a kind of a bit of a respect, or not. Even if you don't respect religion or you don't go near religion yourself, even atheists, I think it's a bit. People don't attack places of worship too easily. I don't think a Shia or a Sunni would attack at a place of worship to do, and if you look in places like Iraq and Iran and many places over the Middle East, many synagogues and many Christian churches existed all through the period of the Islamic Caliphate that existed for 1400 years. The Jewish diaspora that existed in Andalusia, Spain, up until the Spanish Inquisition, and the Christians wiped the Jews and the Muslims off the map in Andalusia, Spain. Up until that point, the Jewish diaspora had called that their golden age under the Islamic Caliphate in Andalusia, Spain. And many religions prospered, but obviously what had happened in the last 100 years with... I did a wonderful chat with someone from the Notre Quatre, where the Orthodox Jews, they see the aberration of this land, of this Zionist land, as being an aberration and causing this problem, this land grab. If you want to see what happened to the USA and the native Indians, just look what's happened just now in Palestine with how you can dispossess a people of a land, kick them off it, criminalise them, put them in Bantustans, use F-16 gunships, and you can kill them, and you can treat people in a terrible, abominable way. And for what? Well, if you look at all the gendarmes that they've got there into that Middle Eastern region from Britain and America, the military junta that gives them the power base, and they've got their puppet leaders in various countries that they've used as subservient puppets to keep the people under. So, and at times in the Western media, when a character assassination of Islam is needed, then they hold up Saudi Arabia. Oh, look what they do here. They boil people alive, they shoot people, the human rights, the things they do to women. And yet, and it's terrible, it's an abomination. It's an abomination what happens in Saudi Arabia. Yeah, what happens? Britain and in America, they're the best friends of Saudi Arabia. Why is that? Is it because the greatest material prize in world history is documented evidence from the United States State Department suggests after the Second World War, what they called the greatest material prize in world history, the black gold, that no one should control it other than themselves. So they had to get puppet leaders. Britain at the time was losing against Ireland and in India, so they developed a new rule. They call it neo-colonialism now, and that is what is happening in the Middle East. It's happened there for the last 100 years, since the Sykes-Picot Agreement, when France and Britain defeated the Ottoman Empire, the remnants of the Ottoman Empire. The Islamic Caliphate was destroyed, the equivalent of the Catholic Pope, in 1924, and basically I look at it as someone who came from a Judaic Christian faith, who was an altar boy, who was part of a Catholic faith, whose wee granny took part in the novenas, the 40-hour devotion, part of the Christmas, the Easter celebration, 2-3 masses, 10, 12, half 5 of a Sunday, during Lent at 8 in the morning. It's the same God. The thing I call for now is just one thing that all the three monotheistic religions, Islam, Judaism and Christianity, only one thing that they have, well, there's many things I've got in common, but there's one problem that I want to put to you that causes the problems, or most of the problems in the world, and that is the banking cartel. And the one thing that you can take from Islam, Judaism and Christianity, I'm not here to preach, convert anybody about any religion. I'm just asking people The one change that we can bring out without us going down all the religious stuff is just, let's talk about a system of finance that is devoid from the existing one, that does interest, that takes not part in any interest. You know, is it not maybe something that these three religions have spoke about for a long time? We should not listen to? Are they maybe not a solution? You know, because my own belief in just the last 11 years of walking into a mosque just 3 weeks before 9/11 is that maybe the character assassination of the good Muslim people, the character assassination of the Muslim people, is because they have a message that is dear and we should be looking to as an example to help free the world from the oppression of the bankers. And that is, you know, it's not for me to say go to a mosque and go and do this. I'm just saying for one simple little small thing, for the sake of our society and our children. The planet is dying. Just to implement one simple little small thing. For the love of anything, just one small thing. And that is to bring a new financial system based on interest-free banking. When you administer a loan, you shouldn't look to take 1, 2, 3, 5, 10, 15, whatever percent. Only administrative cost. That's fair banking and that's just. You might think, how would we survive? We would. All that would be taken out is an unfairness. Taking out it's like slicing off a huge cancerous chunk, a cell, slicing it off the body and taking it right off. And then you've preserved something good and pure. And it won't be allowed to be infected. The economy is infected by this thing called interest like you would never believe. There's a good person out there, Chunky Mark, producing, the artist Cabby, producing a video on this recession. It's a theft, a resource and a land theft from the people who have got control. And what they're doing, they're taking away from the middle class. They're shearing the middle classes because the middle classes can help finance the people who are on the bottom, who have got the revolutionary spirit to discharge the status quo from its system of power. So there's a huge system of oppression coming to the people. Huge. And so the whole middle class is having a shearing, is getting a little trim here. The money has been taken away from the middle class in the UK and the US for a reason. The same reason where I'm not against any guns, never have been, would run a million miles, but the same reason why they're bringing in measures and powers in the USA to take away guns from the people there is because they're preparing for something big. What was that big thing that they're preparing for? Well, they see, or in their sick mind anyway, that the resources of the planet have been depleted, and you just have to look to our eminent Queen's hubby, old racist Greek, Philippoussis. He's on record as stating that if he died, they would like to come back as a virus so they could wipe out 80% of the world's population. That's down to less than 1 billion. They're in a nihilistic programme to reduce the planet's numbers. These greedy... I struggle now just to try... I'm trying to keep it clean because I made a quote at the start that everything good is from... And I'm trying to keep to that. Okay, I don't want to besmirch. I'm sorry for any time I say anything bad or out of turn and out of order. And I'm sorry if I offended anybody. And I would like to give you here now, we're going to listen to someone who can maybe... There's two different ones. And this was a gentleman that maybe gives you... Well, before I put it on, what I was trying to get at, when I saw what had happened on the other day, you know, I realised that, you know, it is a sick world. I realised that when 9/11 happened, I realised how sick a world it was, you know, and stop the world. I want to get off here because how crazy is it that people would fly planes into buildings for whatever reason? It's just beyond the pale, you know, and for what happened there the other day, it's just beyond the pale, you know, and then now what is happening right away, I mean, I knew the repercussions were going to be frightening for anybody who's got a different colour of skin, you know, or something. It's frightening, you know, just for that one act and the way that these people behaved. You know, so other people are going to suffer. And that's why, you know, and there's many cases and there's many incidents of people are pointing out, and we'll get to this later on, where the people who have committed these attacks have got connections with British intelligence. Ramzi bin Rashid was released in India because he was a Pakistani intelligence asset connected to the British intelligence. There's the 7-7 family and survivors who are calling for a proper inquest into what happened, and the government are blocking them because there is a cell somewhere down in London where they are programming innocent, or whatever they are. I mean, they're not innocent when they start doing stuff, but they're getting people of whatever persuasion and they're brainwashing them. And there's quite possibly that they're British agents working for MI5 doing it. There was someone there last week who came on the radio, went on to BBC Radio 4, and before he could even finish it, the police were there to arrest him because he was stating that the person there who did that was being touted or being tapped up to act as a spy by MI5. There's more revelations coming out. The people who supposedly did the one in 7-7, same scenario, same stuff, the shoe bomber, the pant bomber, what is going on here? And then you'd have to think, well, hold on a minute. They're fighting Al-Qaeda in Afghanistan and Al-Qaeda in Iraq. Yet in Syria, they're giving guns and weapons to Al-Qaeda. They funded Al-Qaeda in Libya. They funded Al-Qaeda 30 years ago in Afghanistan, but they don't do it now. What is the programme? They go into Iraq and over $1 trillion of Iraqi oil disappears. They reckon about 90% of it disappeared maybe into the hands of quote-unquote insurgents. Who's the insurgents? CIA, Mossad, the Rothschild banking cabal. That's who. These are the terrorists. A Bin Laden doesn't sit at the top of the World Bank or the IMF. 50,000 people die each day. Each day, 50,000 people die because of effects and diseases and illnesses we can treat here. Malnutrition, malaria. People are dying in Africa. Children. God's sake, 50,000 a day. It's over 14 million, 18, I don't know how many it is a year. It's equivalent to a Holocaust. There's Milk Lake, Butter Mountains, we've got food. People are dying here from overeating. We feed more to our cats and yet people are starving. We bomb people to death and we can't send them a bloody banana. Or we can't send them something to help them survive just for a wee bit. The world is screwed. But hey, you dare to call us a terrorist, will you look down your gun? You know, 50,000 people die each day. 3 billion people live in less than $1 a day. And yet they blamed a little guy for 10 years in a cave. Yeah, okay. You call him a terrorist, yeah, okay, he's a terrorist. Yeah, of course he is. He blew all those people up. He is a terrorist, yeah. But what does that make you, the American military junta? What does that make you, David Cameron, shameless Obampot, Bush, Blair, Sharon? What does that make you, the head of the World Bank, the head of the IMF, using what they now call austerity, but back then they called it structural adjustment loans, where a country can be bankrupt. They could already be paying 30 billion back when they've already borrowed 30 billion, but they still owe 30 billion. The rainforests get decapitated and sorry to use that language here, but yeah, the rainforests are getting chunked down in the Amazon and Brazil and the Congo and Nigeria. the lungs of the planet, we're deforesting them at such an alarming rate. And then you can look in a graph and you can see the same debt that these countries owe to the World Bank and IMF through their structural adjustment, quote-unquote, austerity programs that have inflicted these countries for decades. This is terrorism. When Monsanto can poison the crops, when they can give us genetically modified garbage as food, they can give us something that they say is this kind of meat, but it's not, it's something else. We don't know what we're eating. They're killing the planet with their genetically modified shite. And we sit, sorry for the language, and we sit here and take it. And we have to be fed their BS and their media with their lies and their propaganda and their spin. I don't know how long I've got left to go. I've got a terminal illness. It's called life. Yous all join me in that same terminal illness. We're all going to die at some point. We can all consume ourselves like mindless little atoms of consumption. Be like what they want to be. This is what they want us to be. Just mindless atoms of consumption. Just consuming our fellow human beings while they sit there in inhospitable and uninhabitable conditions in Bangladesh, dying. It's cool as long as a wee bit of plastic they can produce at less than $50 that they'll sell for hundreds of dollars to us dumbasses here. But it's alright. All dumb schmucks on the TV can sit there with their mindless, numbness, spirit-crushing game shows full of... Oh, right. I need to put somebody else to talk sense here. Sorry for rabbiting on. But, yeah, I cried when I saw that happen to that poor bastard. Soldier or no soldier, whatever he was a human being. And I value all human beings and all their lives. I might not be a good human being myself at times. I might be a wank and an idiot and a thing with myself. Nobody is perfect, but I just see all the people now suffering because of the actions of two people who may have been British agents. What is the world coming to? Here's somebody who speaks more sense than anybody I've heard of. And actually, after the 9/11 attack, he was took into the White House to give quote-unquote advice on Islam to dumb schmuck George Bush. It's a gentleman by the name of Hamza Yusuf. I think for the first 20 odd seconds he speaks in Arabic. And thanks everybody for joining me here tonight. It's 8 minutes to 10. This is your crackpot guide to Islam CSC. If there's any brain dead zombie who wants some nice Catholic education, having gone to a Catholic school all throughout my formative years, it was a wonderful upbringing. And you know, first of all, I mean, I'm not the best of spellers, but I could have maybe seen what that was. But secondly, I would have at least realised that, hey, what does it matter what a religion of a person is? What does it matter? If they from Ackle Island or Ackle Islam, who cares? Just because these two crackpots, bastards, whatever you want to call them, terrorists or whoever they were, murderers, they're certainly murderers, they're the two who murdered that boy, then yeah, they're two murderers. If you want to demonise over 1 billion people for the actions of two Rangers Sevcovian fans, if you want to get the EDL, if you want to demonise, okay, all the actions for a group of people, and you say that the Muslims want to take over your way of life, and the Muslims want to do this and that, and they want to, you know, look what's happening in the Muslim lands where there's no guns and there's no bombs, daisy cutter bombs or drones dropping out the sky in Britain. But it's happening in Afghanistan, Libya, Syria, Afghanistan, all over the place, Pakistan, places where there's no even wars, but they're Muslim countries where there's bombs dropping out the sky, killing innocent people on a daily basis. They're being targeted because of, quote-unquote, the military junta of certain countries views these people as being terrorists. And most of them are being killed are just innocents walking about their daily business or sitting in their houses. And this is a sick world. And God willing, all I'm looking to do, to take advantage of a lovely zombie mistaking a lovely banner on our celebrations. And yes, I'm ever the opportunist. Islam, CSC, 5088, 125 years. God bless the Kano Foundation. God bless every single Celtic fan who I encountered yesterday. Had a wonderful day, a wonderful night. And God bless you all. And keep the peace, increase the peace, fight the power, seek the truth, reject falsehood. And here's a brother who will talk wonderful sense and will come back. I have to sort a few wee things out. Thanks for taking the time to join me tonight. And again, I'm sorry for talking so much flannel juice and gibberish. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم تسليما ولا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم. Alhamdulillah, it's a great honor, like was said earlier, to have Sheikh Abdullah bin Bayya here. His wisdom is, I think, sorely needed in this time. Just a few, I think enough was said for people to give a lot of people food for thought. One of the things that all of you have to do is, the Prophet ﷺ said, for the one present should tell the one who's absent. You know, ash-shahid yuballigh al-ghaib. So people here have to really get this message out to people. We're in a very difficult situation. Like Sidi Abdul Hakim Winter said, tradition or extradition. It's not a joke, and people really have to think about the presence of Muslims, over 25 million Muslims in Western Europe. We have to really think about what we're doing here, what we're going to be planning on doing here in the future. For those of you who have children, you have to really think about what's going to be the situation of your children and your children's children. I mean, these are really serious situations. Unfortunately, we have sufaha. We have people that are simply, they're safih. And I don't care how sincere they are. There's plenty of sincere people out there. But we have people that are fools. They're foolish people. There's people that read things and take them literally. You know, you have naql and you have aql. This is what the Sheikh's talking about. You have naql and you have aql. So unfortunately we have some naql heads out there. You know, we have people that are not using their intellect when they read verses, when they read these things. And don't think these people haven't been around since the beginning. Really. And they absolutely believe they're rightly guided. They believe they're rightly guided. And our Prophet ﷺ said in a very important hadith, يَحْمِلُ هَذَا الْعِلْمِ مِنْ كُلِّ قَرْنٍ عُدُولُهُ, that this knowledge will be carried in each generation by upright people. يَنْفُونَ عَنْهُ تَحْرِيفَ الْغَالِينَ. They'll repudiate the misquotations of extremists. Tahrif is يُحَرِّفَ الْكَلِمَ عَنْ مَوَاضِعِهِ, is to take something out of context. So the Prophet said that rightly guided scholars will repudiate the misquotations of extremists. وَانْتِحَالَ الْمُبْطِلِينَ, and plagiarisms of people that are trying to undermine the religion or attack the religion. Just fabrications. People that fabricate. وَالتَّأْوِيلَ الْجَاهِلِينَ, and interpretations of zealots, of ignorant people. Now there's no doubt that the Muslims we are suffering in a lot of different places. But again, this is not new. There have been many, many periods where Islam has been under siege, it's had troubles, it's had difficulties. We have two sunnah. In fact, we have three sunnah. We have the sunnah of the Prophet in Mecca. One of the things that Ibn Taymiyyah said, rahimahullah, is that there's nothing that's abrogated in Islam that if the same circumstances in which it was applicable return, then it becomes applicable. In other words, there's no absolute abrogation. There's no verse in the Quran that's absolutely abrogated, with the exception of about 4 verses in which there's no difference of opinion on. I mean, there's really only a handful of verses. All of the verses in the Quran, وَاصْبِرْ عَلَى مَا يَقُولُونَ وَهْجُرْهُمْ هَجْرًا جَمِيلًا. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, لَسْتَ عَلَيْهِمْ بِمُسَيْطَرٍ لَسْتَ عَلَيْهِمْ بِوَكِيلٍ لَسْتَ عَلَيْهِمْ بِجَبَّارٍ. I mean, all these verses in the Quran in which the Prophet was told to be patient, those are all applicable because that's the sunnah of Mecca. One of the things Hudayf ibn al-Yaman said, he said that in the end of time, يُخَيِّرُ الْمَرْءُ بَيْنَ الْعَجْزِ وَالْفُجُورِ. And one of the Sahaba, one of the Tabi'een listening to this said, قَبَّحَ اللَّهَ الْعَجَزِ. He said, قَبَّحَكَ اللَّهَ أَنْتَ. He said, الْعَجْزُ خَيْرٌ مِنَ الْفُجُورِ. That there will be a time when people will be given a choice between powerlessness and between going to extremes. Fajara means to go beyond a limit. And one of the Tabi'een heard him say that, and he said, may Allah make ugly powerlessness. And he said, may Allah make you ugly. Powerlessness is better than going to outside of the boundaries. So the sunnah of ittihad, the sunnah of being oppressed is Mecca. Look how the Prophet ﷺ behaved. One of the reasons that I stayed a Muslim was when I studied the seerah, the period of Mecca was an overwhelming period. Anybody that studies that has to come to that conclusion about our Prophet ﷺ. It's what made him great. And if you deny the Meccan period, you're denying something that's absolute. There's more time in Mecca than there was in Medina. 13 out of 23 years. So if you deny the Meccan period and just say that that was all just strategies until he got into power, and then at that point you stop forgiving, and you stop overlooking, and you stop, I mean, that's as if our Prophet ﷺ, and may Allah, we seek refuge in Allah from misunderstanding who the Messenger of Allah is. كَانَ أَحْلَمَ النَّاسِ. The Prophet ﷺ was the most forbearing of people. And this is what we have to return to our community. Because we've created a culture, there's a culture now in which people can't see any other way out than this reactionary mode. And we've been spinning our wheels for far too long, and the Muslims really need to think at a deeper level. You know, Einstein, and it's useful, the hikmah is wisdom. Wherever it is, wherever you find it, you should follow it. Einstein said the definition of madness is to do the same thing over and over again and expect different results. And the Muslims really, we have to ask ourselves about what we're doing, about our strategies, about our attitudes and behaviors. And then finally about Denmark, because you're having your demonstration tomorrow. I find it really odd that the very thing that we are accusing so many people in the West of doing towards the Muslims, that we blame all the Muslims for the actions of a handful of people. This is the same thing that Muslims end up doing. I mean, this was a fool. Whoever did that, it was a fool. And unfortunately, there's some malevolent intent there. And I don't have any doubt, because it wasn't like an artist who drew some pictures and then there was an editorial decision about whether they print them or not. It was actually somebody who wanted to find somebody to do this. But part of this, unfortunately, and we have to be honest, part of this is the Muslim community in Denmark has failed to be an upright community. Some of the really serious social problems with Muslims in Europe are occurring in Denmark. And you can study the situation there, because there's plenty of statistics that have been done on this. And that's what we have to ask ourselves as a community. Have we been honoring our Prophet? In other words, have we done anything in our behavior in these lands that has led to people having a bad opinion of who our Prophet ﷺ is? Because we're ambassadors of the Messenger of Allah. We are his ambassadors. And people are going to judge him based on our actions. And you cannot honor your Prophet by dishonoring his sunnah. You cannot honor your Prophet by dishonoring his sunnah. If you want to honor the Prophet ﷺ, really, if you want to honor him, then practice his character. Practice his moral probity. Practice his excellence and his virtue towards people. Practice his forgiveness. Practice his ability to smile despite all of the incredible difficulties. This is an age, unfortunately, it's an age of brawling. We're dealing with people now that we've gone down into the ghetto and we're just swinging it out. This is not an age of discussion. This is not an age of discourse. This is something the poet Yeats said in a poem that he wrote in the earlier part of the last century. He said, "Come, let us mock at the great that had such burdens on the mind and toiled so hard and late to leave some monument behind, nor thought of the leveling wind." And then he goes on, "Come, let us mock at the wise, come, let us mock at the good," and finally mock mockers after that never lifted a hand maybe to help good, wise, or great. to bar that foul wind out, for we traffic in mockery. And this is the age that we're living in. It's not an age of virtue. It's not an age that respects the other. And this includes the Muslim and the non-Muslim alike. I mean, this is the age that we're living in. And Islam is a high religion, and it calls to the highest human ideals. And we as Muslims have to live up to that. If we want to have the moral high ground, if we want to have the moral high ground where the sacred is honored, then we have to honor the sacred in ourselves and in others. But if we lose that moral high ground, then we sound like hollow men. We sound like hollow men. We've lost our moral high ground. When we have anti-Semitism in our newspapers all over the Arab world, what moral high ground do we have to talk about what's put in cartoons and what's not put in cartoons? We have to be people of truth in order to call others to the truth. The Quran says to the people of the book, لَسْتُمْ عَلَى شَيْءٍ حَتَّى تُقِيمَ التَّوْرَةَ وَالْإِنْجِيلَ. You have nothing until you apply your Torah and your gospel. Well, the mafhum al-awla, the understanding, the a priori understanding of that verse is you have nothing until you apply your Quran. Muslims, we have nothing until we apply our Quran. وَقُولُ لِلنَّاسِ حُسْنًا. We condemn this, and we recognize the double standards in the West. When you have people now that are being prosecuted in England for holding up a sign, cut off the heads of anybody that criticizes the Prophet Muhammad. I mean, that person's not going to go and cut off anybody's head. They're just expressing, and it's more silliness. But if you're going to prosecute him for inciting to hatred, then attacking the messenger of God, something that 1.3 billion people hold sacred, that's not inciting to hatred. So there are double standards here, and we recognize those double standards, and I'm opposed to those double standards. But I also recognize the fact that we as Muslims will not have a strong moral voice until we ourselves are applying our truths. We have to do it ourselves. And Denmark is a nation of good people. And this stupidity of demonizing an entire nation because of the actions of one or two fools in that nation, that is as silly as condemning the Saudi Arabians for the actions of a handful of Saudi Arabians and their criminal activities. The Danish defend human rights in the Muslim world. The embassies that were in Egypt, the Danish embassy actually is involved in monitoring human rights transgressions in prisons in Egypt. I mean, this is the work that the Danish have been doing. And trampling on their flag is absolutely unacceptable. First of all, the flag has a religious symbol on it, which is the cross. And second of all, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, لا تسب الذين يدعون من دون الله فيسب الله عدوا بغير علم. Do not curse the idols of other peoples, because they will curse God. So there's people that will take the Saudi Arabian flag that has La ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah and stomp on it as a retaliation. And the Prophet said, let not one of you curse his parents. They said, how do we curse our parents? By cursing their parents. And they in turn curse your parents. These are the type of things that we have to break down as a community. I really believe the onus is on us. We have to tell them who our Prophet ﷺ is. Whoever that caricature was, I don't recognize him, because that's not my Prophet. That's some poor man's projection in his own self of complete misunderstanding. And I reject that. And I reject any insult or denigration. Our Prophet ﷺ, we honor him and we love him, but we should honor him and love him by living up to his words, by living up to his religion, and then by telling people about him, who he was. Not just in our words, but in our actions. Jazakumullah khairan wa assalamu alaikum.
الحمد لله رب العالمين اللهم صل وبارك على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم تسليما اللهم اغفر لنا ذنوبنا وإسرافنا في أمرنا اللهم إنا نسألك أن تنظر إلينا نظرة مرحومة لا تدع لنا بها ذنبا إلا غفرته ولا هما إلا فرجته ولا فقيرا إلا أغنيته ولا جاهلا إلا علمته ولا ضالا إلا هديته ولا حاجة من حوائج الدنيا والآخرة هي لك رضا ولنا صلاح إلا قضيتها ويسرتها برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين يا رب العالمين. اللهم انزل علينا السكينة والطمأنينة وافتح لنا بفتوحاتك الربانية وأصلح حالنا وبالنا ومآلنا وأصلح أزواجنا وذرياتنا وألهمنا رشدنا وانزل علينا رحمتك وبركاتك يا أرحم الراحمين يا أرحم الراحمين يا أرحم الراحمين. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. ربنا آتنا من لدنك رحمة وهيئ لنا من أمرنا رشدا. وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم.
And that was a speech by a chat with a sheikh called Hamza Yusuf. He was a Greek. He is a Greek Orthodox Christian who converted to Islam something like 30 or 40 years ago, possibly. And hopefully you found that interesting. And I'm not here to try and convert anybody. I'm not here even to try and explain. I'm just here to try to explain a wee bit of Islam, basically. To people who may or may not know something about it, and me to offer an apology for my actions at any point. I can't offer apologies for the actions of anyone else because I'm only answerable for what I do. So, and God willing, my aim for doing this radio station is manyfold, but one of them is God willing that, maybe if I put enough smiles on people's face, it puts me into a good bank of goodwill. The bank of goodwill, and then the other side, that God willing, I'm silly enough to believe that there's a day of judgment, and I just think that, a different opinion from the Christian faith, the Catholic faith, where, people believe that Jesus died on the cross for their sins and will get to heaven in belief of Jesus. I believe in my consequence of action, and, as I say, I'm silly enough to believe that. So I'm just trying to, if you bear with me in my explanation here, I'm just trying to put into my bank of good deeds by putting a wee smile on some people's face. So God willing, if I put a smile on some people's face, if I put a frown on some people's face, then c'est la vie. As long as it's a zombie face. If it's a Tim face, then I'm deeply sorry. But you win, you lose. You don't like me, you walk on by. You like me, stay by with me. Stay by with me, and I'll pick you up one night and you can give me money and I'll pass it on to a lovely charity of our choice. I was looking at Mary's Meals. Mary's Meals looked a wonderful. They provide stuff. I think maybe next time I'll do something for Mary's Meals, God willing. And I passed the money over to the Good Brother and Kano Foundation earlier on. So yeah, God willing, I'm going to try and do more charitable stuff, something different. I think this time more in something the brother was saying there about doing abseiling. I don't know about that. Think of something to do. Like get sponsorship. You sponsor me, crackpots, with people sponsor me. If I set up one of these things, if I was to do something, I need to think something for me to do, right? Apart from taxing, something for me to do, and I'll go and do it. And if you sponsor me, I'll put it out for a sponsor. There's a brother there raising money for a video, the Cabby Mark, and he's doing a video exposing people. And I thought about doing something like that. No, I'm not wanting sponsorship for that, but I was thinking of doing this as separate, maybe raising funding for that, but doing on a charity basis, something like, I don't know, well, these lovely women who were doing the stuff for the charity yesterday morning, they were all dressed in pink. I saw a few of them kicking about after. I saw them setting the stuff up early in the morning, went to bed, and then when I got around later on, I saw some of the lassies with all the pink. So maybe something like that I'm thinking of doing. Wouldn't mind doing something like that, raising it and giving it out. Felt good doing that, just that wee 3 hours yesterday. It felt good. Instead of making some filthy lucre for me to spend, felt good that knowing that. Well, and then look what I did. Look what happened. I can't even believe what happened. I swear to God, wallahi. So I swear, and that's me saying in Arabic, I swear to God, I made not one single penny from a Hibs fan after the game, and I got there because I anticipated it out. I made a huge fare last year taking somebody back to Edinburgh land, and I thought if Celtic score another couple, there was going to floodgates opened, and there was, despite what happened. I mean, my way was like, oh, they stayed behind quite well. Well, they did, but they were still flooding out prior to the end of the game. But c'est la vie. Post a link to that video. What one was that, my man? Oh, the one that was just on there. Yeah, brother. Yeah, no problem. Yeah. So there was huge loads of them flooding out. And then I got there and I just get mired in it, and there was nothing happening. I was quoting too much. I was just hitting them out. I was like, right, we're going to do this for it. And all of a sudden, and then I did the same on all the suits. And I said to the brother there, because, I mean, I'm trying to get my head round how the fact that the corporates, right? Now, I didn't make a penny, right? I'm telling you, I never made a penny. I swear that my life, the new, God strike me down the new, I never made a penny for the suits, right? And God bless. I mean, I had a wonderful night even after that. I mean, all praises to God, because look what happened after that. I made an even wonderful night for myself. It was a wonderful, wonderful night. So, for the Kano Foundation, for up to that point, for those 3 hours, when I started quoting it on my show, that's when the money started rolling in. God bless those and oh, it's going to be brilliant. 2 Waynes. It's a brilliant, brilliant idea. Next time, something different. So I'm thinking of Mary's Meals. What can you do for Mary's Meals? Or even Palestine. Or Ty Tim's. So many wonderful people. I mean, or even someone new or something new, you know. The little brother Oscar as well. I want to do something else. I need another charity case to do. After all, I'm a charity case. A crackpot charity case. Yeah, we're changing ourselves. We're no longer a crackpot case. We're a crackpot charity case. We're on the case for charity here. West Highland Way. Day the West Highland Way. What's the internet connection like in the West Highland Way? Anybody get any clues on that? Could we do a show on a night-to-night basis? I heard it's meant to be some trek. Well, we could do that. We could do the Crackpot Highland Way in a taxi. Crackpot Highland Way in a taxi. Driving about the Highland Way. Talking to every mad crackpot doing it. If they need anything along the way, then we can go and give them a hornet. Is it all foreign? Anybody done that? Fuck it. Just ditch your water. Oh, dear goodness. Sorry. Stupid muppet. Sorry for the language. So, anything good I say is from God, anything bad I say is from me, and I'm sorry for bad language. It's no nice, it's no becoming, you know what I mean? It's no nice, it's no big and it's no clever. It's no big, it's no nice and it's no big and it's no clever. It's damn right rude. And also, how dumb am I? I've not even put all the time with this explicit thing. I should be putting explicit in every show. Every single show. I need to put an explicit on this one here. Triple XL. Right. Don't worry, I'm not going to fall asleep here. So that's an hour. Would you like another lecture from Hamza Yusuf? Could you go another lecture? What time is it now? Right. And the link. See, to get the link, what the best one is, just go into Between Ignorance. I wouldn't even know what it is now, because unless it's in the Hamza Yusuf, Between Ignorance, and just type into YouTube Hamza, Hamza, Yusuf, Yusuf, Between Ignorance. I don't know what's the rest of it. I'll try and find it. I'll try and find the full name, but I don't know. Hold on, I'll be in here somewhere, won't it? I'll go into the music library, see what's in here. See if it pulls up the full name. See if I can get the link off that. Right. And I was going to sort my settings out for the numbers, but I can't, so... Between Ignorance and... oh, it's got his E. Hold on. Give me the full name of it. Between Ignorance and Extremism. Let's copy this. Put it onto the YouTube for you. Copy. Right, thank you for joining us tonight. This is, and also, look at the poor brain dead zombies. Poor zombies. Oh, diddums, eh? Imagine taking a Fendi. A Fendi, eh? Taking a Fendi because it says Islam CSC. I mean, it shows you the mindset, how they equivocate the actions of one for us all. So the actions of two Muslims means that all Muslims you shouldn't put Islam anywhere. So there shouldn't be any Islam CSC banner. You know, is just because you've got Islam on a t-shirt, oh look, he's a terrorist, he's got Islam, because Islam means terrorism. That's the mindset that these people are at. It's beyond belief. It's frightening, really, that they can actually say, oh look, I mean, so what? I mean, there's no more Celtic games now, but I'm pretty sure if Celtic were playing next week, there's going to be banners and stuff there with Islam CSC. There's everybody out there on their Twitter. There's a huddle board that's full of pages and threads, tunes, the adaptations of, you know, Allah or Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the name of the one true God, or Islam or whatever. And that's brilliant in a good fun way, because it shows you the mindset of the brain dead herd mentality of the zombie, where all they can equate with, okay, as a terrible, despicable act, but two of the people who are participants in the religion commit a heinous crime, yet the rest of the billion people have to be all treated as terrorists. That's what their logic equates it to. Or there shouldn't be Islam CSC, or they're supporting terrorism. So if there was a banner there saying Islam CSC, how is that supporting terrorism? How is putting Islam on a jacket or anything supporting terrorism, if you write it in Arabic? But sadly, these repercussions go even further than just your brain-dead zombie. These go to the heart of institutionalised racism, that if somebody's got something Arabic on them, then they'll be questioned, oh, are you a terrorist, or are you this or that? Hold on a minute. The only people who are committing terrorist acts are people who have got connections with British intelligence. What is going on here? This is an Orwellian society that they have constructed. It's a mind-controlled, it's a It's a deep, heavy shit system that they have got there, controlling us all, or try to control us. Just by saying one sentence of the truth is a revolutionary act. Viva la revolution! Seek the truth, reject falsehood. For falsehood is always vanishing, vanishing quicker than a creased up Irish banner, than an Irish flag with writing on it. Go back to school, you brain-dead zombie. Who started this? Does anybody get a number of the zombie who started this? God bless him. I don't want to shout at him. I don't want to attack him. I don't want to abuse him. I don't want to do anything bad. I want to give him a big bear hug, the big daft bear zombie that he is, and say, God bless you, brother, for giving me an opportunity to say in a nice, peaceful way that Muslims are not all bad, miserable bastards that are portrayed in the media. We're not all killers. No, we like a bit of fun and a joke. I ain't the best. I ain't even I'm probably the worst example. I'm not even a Muslim. In fact, scratch everything I've said. I'm not even a Muslim. I'm not even a Muslim. Like, it's a disgrace to even call myself. I feel ashamed, absolutely. I should have even started this at the start. I'm not even a Muslim. Compared to the Muslims who are good people, I do nothing. I brought nothing to the religion. I've done nothing for Islam. I've done nothing. I'm a hopeless, dumb schmuck. I'm a worthless piece. I'm a fanjeeter of the highest crackpot. I'm a dumpling. I'm a schmuck. I'm a schmuck pot schlemio. I'm a dumpling. I'm a dope. I'm I'm the biggest, stupidest, dopiest idiot. I'm the most hopeless crackpot idiot. Anything you can say without swearing, that's me. I'm a dumpling. Okay? I ain't no Muslim at all, compared to the ones who are good people, who do many good things. I don't do charity work or anything like that. That's why I want to try and do more of that. I feel shamed that I had to do that yesterday. The £125, I mean, and I felt shamed the way the Kano Foundation was treated against Celtic, by Celtic. Shocking. Well, God willing, we'll aim to change that next season. Free programmes for the boys. We want free programmes. This is now the clarion call. Every fan, every Celtic boy, girl who goes in to support that team as part of the Kano Foundation deserves a free programme. This is the new campaign that I want to champion now, God willing. Free programmes. If they can give free programmes for a dumb schmuck suits, then they can do it for the Kano Foundation. Who seconds this motion? Second it on Twitter and get us rolling. Kano Foundation kids, free programmes. Free programmes, not just for the suits. No programme, no party. Okay? No programme, no party for the Waynes. The Waynes are in solidarity with the Green Brigade. God bless the Kano Foundation Waynes. They deserve a programme, don't you think, troops? Don't you think they're a worthwhile cause? Underprivileged Waynes of Glasgow, of all persuasions. When the brother told me that there was people, Hearts, Hibs, St John's, every type, Rangers, every type of Wayne from background goes there. That gave me the biggest smile. I slapped that boy's hand and says, give me 5, my man. Lay me some skins on that. You can't whack stuff like that, I'm telling you. You can't whack that. The 2 badges are all late because it's all... Well, you can not too late. Give money to the Kano Foundation. Give more money. It's never too late. It's too late to get one of the wee seats. The wee seats that the wee Waynes can sit on and cheer them on from a Protestant background, a Jewish background, a Hindu background, an Islamic background, every kind of background. Get them in there. Have a wee bit of enjoyment. Listen to the Green Brigade. Watch decent football. Have a party. Well, the zombies go under again. So give money to the Kano Foundation and we'll demand now, from now on to next season, free programmes for the Waynes. How many? 20 Waynes, 30 Waynes, 50 Waynes, whatever it is a game. That's nothing. 50 programmes, you need to go out 60 programmes. that souvenir, you know, that thing. Do you remember what it used to be? Just see those small things for a win. I mean, Celtic, I mean, dear goodness, this is like, I mean, how dumb are Celtic? I mean, this is our club, right? And we need to be pushing for it, because this shows you how dumb that the people in charge of Celtic are just now. That there's Waynes who are going there, the future, and especially if they're not coming from a Celtic family background. Proselytising, there's a word for you. Get converting the Waynes for their background. The laughter of the victory will be the laughter of not only our children, but their children. Their Waynes need a team to support. They can't be bothered with mediocrity, pash, and division, whatever they're in, 2, 3, SFL, Iron Brew rots your teeth, so does the old Sevco, so stay away from them Waynes. Come and watch a decent product. God willing, the Kano Foundation, get them into some of the lovely Protestant schools, give them a bit of culture. I want to see wee Billy, I want to hear of a wee Billy taking his ticket home and saying, I'm going to the house of Celtic tomorrow. Craigie White's for your army. We salute the Craigie White for giving us the courage and indefatigability in the shape of the suits blackballing us. And that's what I was going to say. Those suits were a different, they were a different variety. Now, I know my suits, right, who go to football. Right, I have been classically trained, I tell thee, in the fine art of identifying the prawn sandwich brigade. This crackpot has observed at a distance and at close hand. I have done black ops, covert ops, I have got under the skin, the mentality, and now I bring you the people. And shame on you, PLC, because those suits were the difference of me drawing a blank and getting where the normal suits would take me. Not a problem for a suit walking out, having been wined, dined, and almost 69 with a lovely hostess or whatever. Shame on me, shocking. But whatever happens in there, they come out and they ain't spent a penny. It's been given to them by a company. Now, I know, as I said, in 11 years... I've not ever once, before I was there, I did get a ticket for Martin O'Neill in the corporate. My Wayne was in the corporate bit with one of my aunties yesterday actually as well. Very close to Hugh Keevans, and Keith Jackson. And I did get there with Martin O'Neill's time, so that was the only time I was there in the corporate, and I didn't like it because I'd rather sit in the house instead of sitting with A-bombs. But anyway, so it's for 10 years sitting there picking them up. And the difference between, and the Shyster House this season has been flooded. Shyster Dome the Debt Dome has been flooded by a different type of suits. More of that later on, we'll get back to that. But the suits that populated Hampden is what we're talking about now, because it's relevant and it's particular, and speaking to someone else regarding it, and it's funny how things come out, and if you join the I's and dot the T's, and the people, and I'm giving you this here live and exclusive because I made a duck. Do you know what a duck is? I made Hee-Haw Jack McGraw in about 3 hours, sitting, prospecting, like a mad crackpot taxi driver, looking for a fare in them hills. And I drew a blank, and now I'm blaming it, right, is because I'm sitting there throwing darts at the dartboard aiming for the 50, and I kid you not, but it was all going for the Kano Foundation. Well, close to 50, 40, but I took a tenner a skull, a tenner a fecking skull, but those quality of people that were coming out, they weren't all your suits, these were all your scamps. This was scamp CSC. This was all Celtic fans who had to buy in at that level to guarantee a ticket. I looked at it, and a good brother from the Suicide called the Parrot. I remember it clearly because it was the night before the draw or the dispatchment of the tickets on the Monday. This was on the Sunday, and I looked at it, and I was like, my Wayne's desperate to go. What's going down here? Is it? And I looked at the packages. The bottom package was gone, so it was just whatever was left. Come the Monday, and then the Bulging says, hey, it's gone. Every hospitality man's gone. It's like, you're kidding. You are having a giraffe. And so that's what happened. And yesterday, all the corporate types in there weren't your normal ones. The ones who get all the freebies. Maybe there was, but the ones who flooded the area and took away from the sight of me, you know, the old thing with the wheat and the chaff, there was just so many of the ones who had obviously fought to an arm and a leg to get in there, and they had no more pot left to go to play for a crackpot. Whereas the crackpots I'm wanting are the ones who have been fed everything free gratis, and they've still got a bulging wallet. That's the money that I was looking to extricate them from, open wallet surgery, but it never happened. So, Mr. Lawwell, the suits and the people you put in there, and the place was crawling with suits. There was some amount of suits everywhere. It was getting down. Shocking display. Shocking. But in the end, it was all right, because, and this is a good part of the story, the wonderful, fine inhabitants, not the two single-fished, just the slightly inebriated, the ones who I managed to escort up the road safely, securely to their place of abode, with happy smiles, with rebel tunes being played. Yes, and lovely, 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 much money made for a good, worthy cause, God willing, for the first time. And I think now that's going to be the inaugural funding of the Wayne seats at CP. God willing, if I'm still about and I'm still sitting, do you know what? Even if I'm no taxing, if I'm somewhere abroad, I've got to come back for the cup final. If you live abroad, you've got to come back for the cup final. I'll grab a motor, and I'll get a temporary licence, or apply for a temporary licence if I need to for the taxi bods, and I'll get in there and about it, and picking up fund the Wayne season tickets. Right, so somebody fund me about the information about Mary's Meals. I want to know more about that. What can we do? One of my, I can't declare that because that would be giving too much away. But one of the Waynes helped out one of the Waynes to help out our pal or something like that. So I'd like to help out somewhere like that. That seems a good way. Is there any other ones, any other causes, local ones? Is there an Islamic Catholic charity that's out there? An Islamic Celtic charity? Palestinian? How about, we've got Kabira Celts. How about funding a football team sponsored in Palestine? A football team wearing green and white hoops in Palestine, calling them Gaza Celtic. And the theme tune, just prior to Hail, Hail, the Celts are here, will be, why, man, I just went down to see my mate Raoul, man. I just took him some chicken night, and I just wanted to say, calm down, man. Hail, hail, the Celts are here. So Gaza Celtic. So we're going to get Gaza Celtic. I was going, oh no, that's too crazy. I thought there we could. I was going to say fly Gaza in there to Palestine, but if we don't want to do that, maybe if there's no booze there, that might be the best place for them. Send them to a place where there's no booze. It's the only logical thing to do. Right, anyway, so thinking things more cerebral, we're talking about, how about, has anybody sponsored a Palestinian? We've got Kabira Celts, some Celtic jerseys. Or how about a fundraising with Celtic jerseys and me driving them over in my tin-foiled armour-plated Mercedes, driving it over through the Middle East. That was one of the things I wished I did a few years ago with George Galloway's convoy. Remember that first convoy? They went... See that? Look at that convoy. George Galloway's convoy goes through the Middle East, and every country ends up in a revolution. Libya. I shouldn't laugh about it. There's an amount of bloodshed and people have died because of it. Dear Lord. Yeah, they drove through Libya. Remember, they drove through Libya. Oh, maybe no drive off. It's a busman's holiday, that, isn't it? I was going to say day live shows all the way driving through. How much would that cost to fund? It'd be cheaper just to send it by Red Star Post or something, wouldn't it? Send the Celtic jerseys out there. No, I was thinking of sending the jerseys. There wouldn't be much else to send once you fill all the jerseys up in the motor and the strip. You'd go where we were at, the black. What's this crackpot here? He's called me Fitbug here. We need better stuff, and he's hitting us out with Celtic stuff and boys. Fuck. They'll bounce all the boys off me. See, here you bam. Come back with some medical stuff and something better than football. I know, I wouldn't be able to put much in the back of this. Right, alright, back to square one, right, so the West Highland Way. So why don't we, who's going to Ben Nevis? Somebody doing a walk to Ben Nevis? There's a brother doing, is people doing the walk to Ben Nevis? Somebody going to take a Palestinian flag up there? Fly the flag for Palestine. There you go. If somebody takes a flag and flies a flag in Ben Nevis, if you're going there and you've got a Palestinian flag, be it small or whatever, I'll give you a Ronald de Boer, I'll give you a score. A score on the hip for whoever goes up to Ben Nevis for whatever charity. There's 20 bangers in your back tail. 20 bangers in your back tail if you put a Palestinian flag up in Ben Nevis. You don't have to leave it up there. Right, anybody out there going for it? And anybody knows anybody get up there, tell them if they need sponsorship, there's 20 bangers here. Have cash, will travel, on the hip, cash up front. You just need to say you're doing it and then provide the proof. If you want the cash before you do it, if you need the flag, let me know. I have flag, have cash, will travel, let me know. And then just provide proof. That's all we need. Proof when you're up there. Right. If not, if you can't be bothered, just take the 20 bangers anyway. Fake it. Sorry for the language. Dear me. Disgraceful. Shocking. Right, hold on. I copied and pasted that onto the YouTube. Right, we're going to look at the time. Oh my goodness. I need to check what's going down here with the phone call situation. Right, but we're keeping it real. No naughtiness. Right, here's a link here. I think this is the full one. Right, I'm just posting a link. I'll post a link here in the chat. I've finally found it. I've typed it in, so I've got it here. Copied, pasted. Right, sorted. Right, I'll message. Thank you everybody for joining me tonight. Thank you for joining us in this live show on the 27th of the 5th. A big shout out for the Celtic team who 18 years ago stopped to rot Tommy Burns Celtic, took the cup back to the Brazen Head and celebrated. Oh, look at that, Michael, well done. I was just about to post that there. In fact, I couldn't get out it, I've posted it. Nice. Full, hold on here, what's going down here? A full man, what is going down? What he's all about, right, hold on. You don't need a taxi? I'm no working, mate, I'm retired. Retired, this crackpot's retired. Oh, that brother, who's that brother that wanted a taxi for tomorrow at 6:30? Sugar. Oh, can't do it anyway, no. It's too late, I never get confirmation. Shit. No, I can't do it now, I can't get away with it. Who's that brother? Who's the brother? Baldy boy. He was asking for a fare to Edinburgh. I'm sorry, brother, I can't do it. No, I can't do it. No more. Could do it that time, no. Right, no, Ed, no, I'm retired, mate. Retired, part-time retired, mate. You put me I'll be on double over. I mean, I had to do overtime yesterday, mate. Know what I mean? I was sweating buckets there. Know what I mean? Sweating buckets, having to sit in my motor for 3 days in a row, mate. I'm on a 2 on, 5 off regime. This is a reverse from the 5 on, 2 off. This is just all totally wrong. You work 5 days of the week for 2 off? No. I mean, I existed on a 3 on, 4 off, you know, for a huge part. I mean, well over 30 odd hours in those 3 days. Now I can cram those 30 hours into 2, and then bing bang boss, you're there. Rest and recuperation for the rest of the week. 30 hours in 2 days. Nell is your elephant and your auntie, and that's it. You're up the road. Semi-retirement. Why should you bust a gut for a capitalist system when all it's going to do is bust your gut? Why should you go and get white finger syndrome by drilling the road? Why should you walk and pace yourself up and down? Why should you sit and take abuse in a mindless call centre? Why should you phone up this person or that person? What for what? For a shekel? To make a few shekels? Shove your capitalist system. I don't want any of your lousy shekels. I'm happy to sit here poor. But the thing is, I ain't poor. I'm a billionaire. There's a reason why people from other countries come to here. They see it as a land of milk and honey. They think it's wonderful, that we've got everything. It's not really, you know what I mean? The people who live here, we can see it. It's a miserable existence, horrible existence from day to day for some people. C'est la vie, solidarity for anybody out there suffering under this capitalist system. Just bump the banks, bump them. Social housing is the way. If you get a mortgage, the grip of death, mortgage, the grip of death, if you have it, bump it, sack it. Are we all going to go homeless? Cause the Rothschild banking about? Come ahead, I'm sitting here homeless. I've no got a pot to piss in. I'm the penniless billionaire. I'm selling out for nobody. I ain't on this soup. I can't afford this soup. I can't afford the croutons. In fact, I've got a lovely curry there. I've got a lovely keema curry. Just need to get a naan bread. Actually, I'm starting to get a bit Hank Marvin here now. Oof. That's the danger sign. Once you think of food and once the warning bells go to your tummy, saying, oh, tummy, yummy, hummy, get some food in the tummy here. Now it's started, I can't stop thinking about food now. The keema curry, the only thing is, it's not got any potatoes in it. I love a keema curry, where that's mince, with lovely tatties into it. Oh, you can't whack it. With a wee bit of roti, couple of rotis, we've few peas, we've some tatties, some mince spiced up to the max. Bing bang bosh, get some of that in you. I think that's what I'll be going having soon. Oh, now the hunger pains are well kicking in. Just that actual thought and description there has just done the damage on me. Oh dear. Right, none of this genetically modified garbage for me. Halal foods only. And the word halal actually means fruitful. The word haram means unfruitful. And the actual killing of an animal, they do it different from the way they're slaughtered in a non-halal way in this country, where they stun the animal. What they do there, they kill the animal by slitting its throat, draining the blood out, and they do that for the reason because, and then they say a prayer for it. They say a prayer in respect to God for allowing us to be able to eat, and saying thanks. The grace before meals that as Catholics, we used to say, the Christians used to say grace before meals. So something similar to that when you kill an animal to say thanks God for allowing us this to feast on this animal, And the stunning part, the Muslims contest it by actually doing it, it's way above my station and pay grade to explain it, and it's foolish. So I do apologise for certainly not being able to do that. But from a layman's way of describing it and being described to me, the actual stunning of it, the animal can't be stunned it's got to be a clean kill. But anyway, this is way, I don't want to get into it, but whatever is done about it, and people criticise it, say, it's barbaric, but if you're going to kill an animal and eat it, you're going to have to kill it somehow. So you're going to, how you're going to do it, how you going to do it, before you invented a stun gun or electricity, how was it done? How was Christians able to do that for years? How were Christians before electricity were able to eat meat? You couldn't stun them, so you had to cut a knife across their throat, drain the blood, and so one of the main differences, eating meat that has the blood drained from it, you're eating a different type of meat. You're eating a different type of meat, and it goes back, the mad cow disease, don't eat blood and offal and the stuff, and that's, this is a science going back away that predates any scientific Western science. 1400 years ago, drain the blood from the animal. What was the reason? Well, probably because it was unhealthy back then. So maybe there's a reason why they didn't, maybe there was another reason why the Muslims don't eat pig. Maybe because in the desert that animal was, it didn't keep at all. Didn't keep, you killed it unless you cooked from it or ate it. Then also maybe one of the main reasons is it's a filthy, unclean animal. Maybe that was the decision. I don't know. As I say, all that stuff is way above my pay grade. You can obviously look in and check it out. There's obviously far greater people who have got a wealth of understanding and knowledge that can be shared and explained, and it's for you crackpots to go and check it out. I'm just a conduit of crackpottery, fun and games, laughter, and I'm starting to get even more hungry now. Diversion, what can we do and stop me thinking about it? I know, put the heating on, put my jacket on. Oh my goodness, it's the 27th of May and it's freezing. It's freezing here. I don't believe it. Listen to this. There's the heater on. The heater's on. The heater's on. I'm freezing. I'll put a wee tune on. Give me 2 minutes. I'll be back in 2 minutes here. I need to go and get a jacket on. This is too cold here. This is brutal. Absolutely brutal. I'm telling you. Freezing. Heating's went on. The car engine has had to go on. Car engine on. Heat the motor up. To stop us freezing here, I'll play a wee tune, back to
Eyes for Allah, nothing but Allah. Ba is the beginning of Bismillah. Ta is for taqwa, the wearing of Allah, and tha is for thawab, a reward. Ja is for Jannah, the garden of paradise. Ha is for Hajj, the blessed pilgrimage. Kha is for Khatem, the seal of the prophethood given to the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam. Da is for Deen, al-Islam, religion with Allah since time began. Tha is for Dhikr, remembering Allah, and rise for the month of Ramadan. Oh Ramadan. Za is for Zakah, to cure our greed, when we give our money to those in need. Sa is for Salamun alaykum, peace be with you, wa alaykum as-salam. Sha is for Shams, the shining sun, which Allah placed for everyone. And Sa is for Salah, for when we pray, facing Him. Every day facing Him, till we meet our Lord. Allah, there's only one God, and Muhammad is His messenger. Allah, La ilaha illallah. Da is for Duha, the morning light, the sun has turned from red to white. Ta is for Tariq, a path to walk upon. And Dha is for Dhil, a shadow. And Ah is for Ilm, the thing to know, to make our knowledge grow in Islam.
There we go, thank you, welcome back here. And do you recognise that voice? That was Cat Stevens. That was Yusuf Islam there, Cat Stevens. He wrote that song, A is for Allah. That was a song, a poem he wrote for his children, one of his children, I do believe. And
Ka is for kalima, a word we're taught to teach us what is good and what is.
Yeah, so that's Yusuf Islam, Cat Stevens. Right, so thank you very much everybody for joining us, and this is an explanation tonight of to our brain dead zombie brothers that, listen, the fact that if Celtic fans want to put something with Islam on it doesn't mean that we're all terrorists. Doesn't mean that you have to give us hate-filled message. Doesn't mean you have to demonise us and say, oh, look at these bigots or that. No, it's not bigotry to display a banner of Islam, and all the support in whatever way, and some of it in not the truly the best way. But seriously, this is why I've done this, because you know me, I criticise the capitalist system, but I try to capitalise on things in a fun way, in a good way. So I'm trying to capitalise on this silly manoeuvre by a brain dead zombie who thought he saw Islam CSC, as if it would mean anything to any Celtic fan. That, you know, I mean, it shows you how Celtic fans have reacted and how they are able to look at the way life is, you know. They think that, you know, by the actions of two criminal, murderous people, probably backed and funded and aided by the British state, you know, from previous evidence and from stuff that just came out last week from friends and relatives of it, then you have to say, you know, that by judging and by demonising a whole community for the actions of just two people is, you know, that shows you. And they're trying to team themselves up with the EDL, you know, and the SDL, you know. And one of the things, I mean, I myself no longer, or no, I don't go to mosques. Never been to a mosque in a long time, because I'm so scared for the fact that the way. Well, I've got a number of reasons. Maybe I'm not too good a Muslim yet, so I'm not proper Muslim because I don't do all my stuff. But and I'm terribly sorry for coming to this admission here, but my poor excuse. And as I said earlier on, I'm not even, you know, to even call myself that, I feel ashamed, and I shouldn't, you know. I went in, I encountered lovely, humanitarian, wonderful people, You know, at the time when the world was saying these people are terrorists, these people are criminals, at the time when I was introduced, when I heard a speech by that person who I played earlier on, Hamza Yusuf, when I heard stuff about him, at that time, and then it became public enemy number one. And I couldn't understand it. And I look back to all the times that I'd encountered people who were Muslim to think, well, hold on, what was my experience? Were they bad? Were they horrible? Were they ignorant? And if you encounter, and there was someone who posted something, and I never took his name on it, but it was on the huddle board, and he posted a lovely message. And he said, I've lived in a Muslim land for years, and the Western propaganda could be, it's nothing, it's so far from the truth, it's unbelievable. If you meet a Muslim in their land, they will debate with you, not in a bad way, but in a nice way about the merits of their religion. Not try to force it on you, not try to convert you, but just say, well, this is what it's all about, you know, because they perceive, you know, correctly or incorrectly, well, that's mostly correctly, but they perceive that what has been done in their name by Muslims and what has been character, and what has been happening with the character assassination from the Western media, you know, like two men act out their stuff in London and the whole of the Muslim community has to suffer in demonisation and suffer revenge attacks throughout the country. You know, this isn't right. This isn't right. This isn't right. A whole community should not be forced to suffer and pay for the actions of a few people for whatever reason that they do this action for. This is collective punishment. This is a collective punishment. And sorry, the Muslim community don't do collective punishment. They don't do that. They abhor that. And so should every other community abhor that, not in our name. If you're an indigenous white person, you're part of a system. You know, I'm an indigenous white person. Yeah, I'm still a minority. I'm part of a minority in my own house. I mean, I've got people in my house that are black and I'm an ethnic minority, I'm white. But and then, you know, claiming you're from an Irish Catholic background, claiming yourself you're Irish, I mean, that in itself brings even more racism, a particular brand of racism. My friend who introduced me to Islam, he commented on the fact that in Scotland, because we have the religious divide between, well, the Protestants and the majority who have got so much hate and animosity to people who are from an Irish Catholic base, that this in some way diverts their overt hatred to other ethnic minorities. That is different to what happens in places like Bradford and places in like England, where your right-wing knuckle-draggers, your base elements who subscribe to all this EDL, SDL, right-wing lunacy, Queen Country and all this BS, that they're there, they've got nothing else to direct it to because they've not got that Catholic divide there, the Catholics are their other enemy. I suppose still in their mindset they have got that, but they just don't have it in a quantifiable existence like we have up here, i.e. Glasgow Celtic Football Club, where in the Gallagate and the people who flock to Celtic, the people who go to the chapel, there's an identifiable community here that really gets in their nose and up their craw, and God bless every one of us who are standing here as, you know, products of the history of what happened at the famine, of what happened with the migration from people from Ireland to Scotland, and where there is a history from Brother Walfrid, and always be here now. There'll always be people from an Irish Catholic background who will be here inhabiting Glasgow. And so we have a right to exist as equal citizens, not as subhuman, not as some subculture, subspecies, not to be demonised on Twitter as, oh look, look at the bigot, whatever they call us, you know, and the beastdome or whatever stupid you know the terminology the idiots put out there yesterday when they saw this, when they thought it was Islam. And so that's why my heart was warmed, and that's why I'm doing this, being a filthy capitalist at heart, even though I despise the capitalist system. I'm capitalising on the fact that a brain dead zombie would see It is Islam's CSC. And to characterise us and to do us down. And so wonderful, très bien, beautiful. God bless every Celtic fan, woman and child or whatever, who's played their part by outing and showing them up for how stupid it is. That Celtic were an all-inclusive club, were a beacon of light for all the oppressed people across the planet to flock to, from Baghdad, from Bobby Sands Street in Tehran, to Afghanistan, Kabul, Jenin in Palestine, where there's an Irish tricolour adorning the city walls. Yes, Celtic is a beacon for the rest of the world. When you say to someone in Africa, you're Irish, their eyes lights up. I'm telling you, I've been in London speaking to black people when I used to be down there. And you say you're Irish. Oh, you're Irish. Why is that? Anybody thought why that is? You go down there and you say you're Irish. They don't know. When you start, oh, you're Scottish. But I used to live in London, live outside Gatwick Airport, and the people, I quickly realised, I'll tell you a quick story, right? People, the Southern English are so, I don't know, so up themselves at times, it's just beyond belief. And I ended up working for Tesco, right, stacking shelves. Ended up going up for a couple of Scousers doing the cleaning of it. But in this place, and there was one guy, a Southern guy, who was brilliant. Brilliant. Even helped facilitate, get me a wee bit of hash at the time, because I was down there, foreign land, nowhere to go. I liked a wee bit of smoke. Get us a bit of hash. This guy, he was an ancient rock or whatever. He was friendly. There you go, my man, here, boomf. And I remember sitting there on the table of four. He's like, come over, Jock, have a chat. Bang, any problem, sass, and that. And the other two fanjeeters that were there, you know how they try to get conversation going and they wouldn't take you on? So I thought, screw them, doesn't matter. So my man John, we were just sitting there chatting away, and it was his night off. And I thought, right, well, there's no way I'm going to sit with these plums like a spare one sitting there and nobody's going to talk to me. So I took my tray, sat in my Jack Jones. I was only there, I'd say, a week or two, and these two Scousers who worked for a cleaning company, they'd heard my voice. And the most amazing sound came from their voices as they shouted across with all these other Southern Sassenachs. And they went, "Hey, Jock, fucking get over here. You're one of those. Feck all these Southern softies." Something to that effect anyway. In a Scouse accent. On here. Hey, what happened there? Lights just went out. Oh, that's on there. That's terrible. Don't tell me I'm melting this. Melting it. And that's the truth. So, and then I made a couple of Scouse friends. But they Southern softies, their integration skills, their social skills are so up themselves. And so what I quickly found in my 5 years down there, the people that I would find and befriend were people who were not from the home counties, the southern counties there. It was people who were from out with it. So when I worked in Gatwick Airport, many Africans. So much so, that's where I met my lovely wife. That's how I had three lovely children who are now of the African-Irish persuasion. All praises for God. Hardcore to the floor. Fenian Irish and proud. Fenian Irish, African and proud. And God willing, who knows, because I don't force it on any of my children. So that's not the way it's been taught to me. Just put it out there as an example. If I die, if they see my life at a later stage and think, well, okay, my dad was a bit screwed up, but he did this and that, and well, look, he's kept going on about Islam a bit, so maybe they become Muslim, fine, c'est la vie. The important thing is, as far as I'm concerned, is filling your life with positivity and try to do good for others and make the road easier for other people. If you see an obstacle, look to take it out of the way and make the path easier. And Islam is a road of the middle way, the middle path, not of extremism, not of the extremities, but just the middle path. Not too far left, not too far right. Always seek a truce, always seek a way of finding an equitable solution. And God knows best. But nothing is compulsory. Right, God willing, what's happening out there? We'll read some of your messages here now. Crackpots, what's going down, Barry boy? Right, men's 10k, 16th of June. Men's 10, 16th of June. Something I remembered, I'm getting back into doing it as well, because very important to set yourself short-term, medium-term and long-term goals. And Barry boy, nearly an hour ago you came up with a suggestion. Men's 10k, 16th of June. Short-term goal number 1. That's a high chance. We'll put that down. Barry boy, your missus done it. Well done. Test. Texas test. Full marathon tea. North East boy, you're having a giraffe. Do that Ambrose celebration for 50 quid. You're tripping out your dial. The Deaf Contract, yeah. There's a wonderful book by Michael Rowbotham that everybody should read. Michael Rowbotham, The Grip of Death. Wonderful, wonderful. Ian Duncan Smith is off to cut Britain's welfare bill up to another 3 billion annually to protect spending of the armed forces and police. WTF. Right, so listen troops, I'm going to call it a night soon. I'm going to call it a night. We're going to have sponsor silence. Yes, we could do a sponsor silence. We can do it retrospectively from last week. So you all retrospectively owe me for listening to that sponsor silence. You all owe me Ronald de Boer, Bobby Moore, a score. You all owe me a score. So the final total for yesterday's show was about, let's see, so for yesterday's show, from the Swallowgate and beyond, live party from the Swallowgate, yesterday's show came with a total so far, I think it's about 400, so we'll go 400. So we get 400, I can't see it, it's not showing, where has it gone? No, I mean. So say 400, right, so 400 times 20, so is that £1,000? If we get a bag of sand, right, so donate a bag of sand, right, cash up, pony up the dosh, crackpots, it's for charity, and we'll get some taps on in Gaza, Janine, Gaza and Janine. Aye, Janine is no, it's in the West Bank. What we should do then, right, is have a team Gaza Celtic and Janine Celtic. West Bank Celtic. One side would be the green and the other one would wear the white. So we could send the black jersey, the black strip, to send the home jerseys to both of them, and then send the black one to the Gaza Celtic, and then the white one to the West Bank Celtic, and then they can meet and have a derby in Jerusalem, Al-Quds. The West Bank Gaza Celtic derby. So let's do that. So short-term goal, who's sponsoring me to walk 10k? Walk 10k, doing a live show. Yeah, in Ireland. Do it in Ireland. I'm not doing a 10k live show in Scotland. Walking round the 10k. Is it a walk? Is it a run? Yeah, running round the 10k. As I do a show, you just kind of go away and flying the old proverbial, the old big moon in the sky. Is it a full moon up there? Right, we're going to shut down this show to save me from talking too much flannel juice and gibberish, and most importantly, to save me from falling asleep, and to save me from phoning any bad places of ill repute and all such likes. This is a new change crack pottery effort. We're going heavy crack pottery. God willing, I'm going to have time to do something tomorrow during the day, if I can. God willing, God willing, God willing. Inshallah, shalom. Right, I've no time to... Let's see. Who's that? Who left it? Where's Rocky? Oh, man. That's right. I forgot about that dude. Said I was going to do a show late on. Right, so what time will it be there tomorrow? Hold on then. Yo, Rocky, is he about? Is he about the now? What time are we on the now? Right, well, what I'll do then, right, how's about... Because it's still early doors, and this rumbling belly isn't going away anytime fast, and I ain't sitting about here for another hour and 5 minutes talking to you as fanjeeters, whilst I'm sitting here salivating over a keema curry. So what we'll do is, and I'll get a wee coffee intake, so we can get a coffee intake. We'll bring you more crack pottery, possibly, if it's still feasible for me at what time. So time that 12ish, 1ish. I think I'll have just a wee half a keema tonight. I'll have a half a keema and a couple of slices of pan bread. Yes. So we'll have that, and we'll have a wee intake of caffeine. So hopefully that'll give me a wee boost, but not too much. I need to get up early tomorrow, early start tomorrow, so early finish tonight. So I'll try and get a show with our good brother over in wherever he is, over in Thailand. What's the time difference? Have we got a time difference check? Time difference check. No option 6, no party. You're damn tootin', mate. We can have a party without option 6. Yes, I ain't a one-trick pony. I'm an octopus with tricks. Yes, we're like Craigie Boy White. Just because we're not doing the late night calls anymore, it means there's more opportunity that I can do a live show during the day. There may be a direct link between the fact that I've stopped doing live shows during the day, but I've stopped bringing the Sevcovians to account. You have no idea the numbers that I have got here, cockle pickers. I have got numbers coming out of every orifice here. I mean, even the Adam and Eve numbers I've got here, and I'm not using them. Lovely fun can be had. Instead of phoning option 6, which ain't happening again, is banned. It's gone. I can, of course, provide you with whatever you need to facilitate it yourself, but I am encouraging you all to ban. I will, of course, make said final call to the last couple of lassies to encourage them to be wives number 2 and 3 and 4. Of course, the kind offer will be put out to them. Because we're an equal opportunity crackpot, even in the wives department. Wives 2, 3 and 4. And there's another wonderful thing about Islam. They encourage you to not have a mistress. Legalise your mistress. Treat them equally and the same 2, 3 and 4. But this was at a time, at the time, now, most scholars, it's only Arab sheikhs and corrupt Saudi whatevers who are this way inclined, having 3, 4, 2, 3 and 4. Because you really seriously, you got to be radio rental if you want to have more than one wife, you know what I mean? And so, in the Western guy, he has his concubine, he's his secretary, his affair, his gas hooker, whatever. And so what's that? That's wives 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. He's just not calling them his wives 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. But he's banging them away for fun. He's banging for Scotland, England, Britain, whoever. Yee-haw, yaldi, let's go. But he ain't calling them wives 2, 3, 4, 5. So if it was a Muslim of whatever country, if he's doing it the right way, and I don't know what I'm talking about here, because there's probably nobody doing it in the right way. They're all doing it in the wrong way. And it's not supposed to be you get them all together and have an orgy. It's not that way done. No. I'll tell you, this is me trying to give you a bit of Islamic perspective for what it's worth from a crackpot who doesn't know anything. I keep putting a postage stamp what I know. So what I'm trying to pass over just now is just something so small that the reason why that happened, right? The reason why it happened to be like that. Would you like me to tell you? But I'll maybe tell you another time, because I feel that I'm proselytising too much. I don't want to be accused of trying to convert all you crackpots. I'll leave it out there and up in the air until the next time, until another time when you can pull me up on it. Because I'm just thinking of food. Glorious food. I can't think straight. Right, I'll bring you part 2, God willing, later on. We'll get a wee caffeine intake, and I may, if you're good, finish off what I was about to say. Failing that, we'll just get a mad crackpot from our Sicilian brethren out in Asia, maybe, God willing, later on. God willing, right, I need to go and fill my thing way up here. Right, increase the peace, fight the power. What's that? Keeping Sophie to yourself. Yes, indeed, I'm going to save her from doing it. Alright, the reason, shall I tell you the reason? The real reason why Muslims were commanded to maybe have 2, 3 or 4 wives, and as I say, this is unofficial, this is just from my own crackpot observance, is because they're known as the state of Jalaliya, ignorance, where they were uneducated, unlettered, they didn't read nor write, they were in the harsh conditions of the desert, 40, 50 degree heat, 1400 years ago. There certainly was no air condition. At the time I went to the Middle East, thank goodness I could sit in air condition, because I would have been dead, pan-breed. If you asked me to sit for more than 5 minutes out in the desert, no chance. Huff. But what happened way back then, right? Way back then, and this was how harsh they were and barbaric, right? This is how harsh and barbaric these nomadic Bedouin tribes were. They used to bury alive women and children. If a man died, his family were buried, because, and it is a bit sick, but I mean, this isn't to justify it, but this is to try maybe, I mean, how am I to know if this would really happen, but maybe to give a bit of understanding. But if you think about it back then, I mean, obviously they changed it around, but maybe their thinking was, well, it's a harsh climate, there's too much mouths to feed anyway. They would have to go with the sand dunes, where the water, where the oasis, wherever the water would go or whatever. You know, there were nomadic Bedouin tribes that would follow whatever the GPS system that they were using. I mean, obviously they never had TomTom. Was it maybe Garmin they had? Or I don't know. But whatever GPS system they were using to float about the desert or jump about from camel to camel. But obviously, You know, their way of living was different and we can't even comprehend just now. But they used to bury women and children alive. And so what the commandments, or if you like, are the equivalent of a commandment, I think, and as I say, I'm just doing my best to try and explain it, and in no way is this maybe 100% correct, but just to put you into a position of maybe under better understanding of it, that the people who were early day Muslims having second and third and fourth wives was because that it was to change the environment. A drastic sea change was needed, where instead of burying these women alive and their children alive because their husband had died, then, well, if there was less men than the women, then marry the women off again, marry the women off to that same man. So if there was a proportion of 2 to 1 for the women, then 2 women to whatever. And obviously there's a system of corruption that can exist and can happen, and it can take it all over and bastardise it and turn it into something that it wasn't meant to be. And who am I to know, because I'm just a crackpot, but I'm just giving you this small explanation. And God bless the good Rangers, Protestant, Orangeman, whatever he was, on Twitter, pointing out that Islam CSC, and God willing, we'll be bringing more conspiratorial stuff in the close season. We'll be bringing more stuff in the banks, more stuff in Sevco. We've got numbers all over the place, QCs, I've got lords are leaping, knights are jumping, we've got crackpots all over the place, MPs, we've got so many options. I just have to get to bed early, get an early start, early to bed, early to rise, keeps a crackpot healthy and daft. So if we get an early night, then God willing I'll be able to get some proper shows done during the day. How's about that then? What do you say, crackpots? Are you with me or against me? Is this Crackpot FM? Can we shut it down? My eyes are shut. Shut. I'm sitting here bobbling about. No, got a Scooby-Dooby. I just want to go and get some foodie-woody. I can't take any more. Help me out, crackpots. Put me in my misery. Tell me to go up the road. That's it. Go up the road, right. I'm away to get my food then. Just need to get some food. Can't think, right. Right, God bless, God bless, God bless. Yes, no, don't worry. We'll bring Sophie and Stephanie on tour. If we get on a tour, we'll bring them on tour. They've obviously Wives 2 and 3, so we'll get them in on the act. Yes, we'll get them in on the act. Wives 2 and 3, one of them will be a secretariat, the other one will be whatever she wants to be. Right, anyway, hail, hail, increase the peace, fight the power, seek the truth, reject falsehood, for falsehood is always vanishing. I'm sorry I have to go now, and God willing, I'm going to try, I will try. I can't promise anything. My good brother just remembered there, well done Edo, for remembering Rocky. I need to find the time difference we're there. We'll try and get a hold of the brother, I've still get credit. We'll try and get a live show, I'm away to get some food, God willing, just a wee bit before it gets too late, or even later than it is. Hail, hail, God bless. Speak to you soon if I can get this loaded up. It's a tune by Cat Stevens. Yusuf Islam for his wains. They'll play out, we'll finish on their mark.
Jais for Jannah, the garden of paradise. Hais for Hajj, the blessed pilgrimage.
Even a minute mark.
Hais for Khatem, the seal of the prophethood given to the prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam.